One of my favorite parts of Plants vs Zombies 2 is getting to play through each new world for the first time, and on top of that, unlock each new plant along the way. So many insane ideas and concepts went into these plants, making the whole experience that much more enjoyable. At this point, I've ranked every new world plant in Plants vs Zombies 2 except for the last 3 worlds, and today is my goal to finish that list. Let's finally rank every plant in Plants vs Zombies 2. Our list begins with the Neon Mixtape Tour plants: Phat Beet, Celery Stalker, Thyme Warp, Electric Blueberry, Spore-shroom, Intensive Carrot, Jack-o'-lantern, and Grapeshot. Then we'll move to Jurassic March with the Primal Peashooter, Primal Wall-nut, Perfume-shroom, Cold Snapdragon, Primal Sunflower, Primal Potato Mine, and Shrinking Violet, ending with the final world, Modern Day, featuring Moonflower, Nightshade, Shadow-shroom, Blooming Heart, Dusk Lobber, Escape Root, and Grimrose, and have one last batch of premium plants such as the Gold Bloom, Electric Currant, Gloom Vine, Bada-boom, Parsnip, Caulipower, Witch Hazel, Conceal-mint, Dragonbruit, and finally, the Electric Peel. There's a seemingly endless supply of premium plants in this game, which is cool, but they've definitely lost their charm over time. Still, after this video, there are a lot I'd still love to talk about. If you want to see more, we can do an all premiums episode, but for today, let's just focus on finishing the world plants up. Without further ado, let's find out which of these plants live up to the hype, and which ones make that tomato freak look ripe. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like Neon Mixtape Tour is one of the most forgettable worlds in the game. Not to say the plants suck or anything, it's just not as impactful for me personally. Still, for some reason, I always kinda liked the Phat Beet. I didn't necessarily love using the things, I just liked it. Phat Beets are best used in lanes without zombies, as they deal damage in each square adjacent to them. Pairing them with a sweet potato or garlic, who just so happens to be added in the Neon Mixtape Tour, is a great way to use them. The effect of their PHAT fat asses hitting the ground deals damage, but not a ton. You're definitely going to need more than them to take out the zombies. In the end, it feels like a weaker Gloom-shroom from the first game, despite how fun of a design it has. Let's go with a D tier. Normally, I'm not one to defend a literal stalker, but hey, let's hear the guy out. I can't wait for that voice clip of me to be used out of context. I like the idea quite a bit, just a little guy who hides out until the enemy has walked past him. He does a crazy amount of damage in such a short amount of time. I do feel there are quite a few detriments though. If the zombie is strong enough, the Celery Stalker doesn't get much time to attack it. If there's a group of zombies in a lane, it's basically screwed. It has a little protection celery, but it really doesn't last too long. Its plant food isn't that great, it can't break gravestones for you, the list seemingly goes on and on. For what it is, I like it, but I've never once considered using it outside the Neon Mixtape Tour. C tier. I love the Thyme Warp's ability so much. What an insane plant to be allowed to use. Sending every zombie back to square one feels like a power I'm not worthy enough to wield. It's so powerful though that the zombies are completely reset too, meaning you gotta actually start over. Still though, that gives you time to place more plants. You could get some potato mines ready while it's activating, you have options. The zombies all cluster together, so explosions are your friend here. Its recharge time is justifiably slow. It would be strange to just keep resetting the level back to back indefinitely. They've also allowed it to be used in every world now, which is something a lot of these types of plants don't have the honor of. I really like the Thyme Warp. It's not perfect, but I think we should give it a B tier. Electric Blueberry also feels too powerful for me to be able to own, creating instant thunderclouds to target zombies at random. If you could choose their targets, this would definitely be on a completely new level. It favors weaker zombies, sure, and some zombies can just take the lightning without batting an eye, which is extremely rude. I worked hard to electrocute you, the least you can do is take it on the damn chin. Facing these guys up against Gargantuars is a ton of fun too. As long as you can keep that little blueberry alive, you're getting multiple free, single-use thunderclouds that will decimate your enemies. As long as it's not your only defense and there isn't a huge group of zombies coming your way, you should be fine. When used in the right levels, I think it deserves an A tier. Spore-shroom is a great example of a fun idea for a plant that would be too OP if they were good. If a Spore-shroom kills a zombie on a plantable lane, a Spore-shroom grows in its place. You can create an army just by killing zombies, and at the very least you can use the new shrooms as a little speed bump before they get to you. That is the main issue though, right? You're killing zombies in random tiles, places that they're gonna get killed easily. That is, if you even manage to kill the zombie with the Spore-shroom. Its attack is so slow, any other attacker will probably get the final shot on the zombie. All that matters is that last hit, and if you don't get it, you're wasting your time with the Spore-shroom. It's also not very strong, so if you only use the Spore-shroom, things might not go too well. Feels like a lose-lose situation every time, making the plant feel useless to me over and over again. Let me know if you think it should go higher, but I'm putting it down in D tier. They really went balls to the walls with their concepts in this world. Every insane idea that feels like it should not work in PvZ is here, like reversing time or reviving dead plants. For a long time, I was wondered why you'd do that. If I ever lose a plant, I usually just replant it or let the lane go, as the zombies are too far in anyways. But when you think about it, there are a lot of plants worth more than 100 sun. Plants like He Who Shall Not Be Named are extremely expensive and explode on command, and all you need is an intensive care to bring right back. Single-use plants or defensive plants with long recharge times can be avoided. A war veteran with a wife and kids can continue to be a father. We're sort of creating plant zombies now that I think about it. But if Crazy Dave is morally okay with it, then I suppose I am too. I can't say I'm going to bring this guy in more often, but I gotta give credit to such an awesome concept. The game really didn't give it much chance to shine. The only level that really makes use of it is this random one in modern day. Some people seem to love it and others seem to hate it, so I can't win no matter where I place it. Wait a minute, yeah I can! B tier! Also, from now on, everyone's going in B tier, so you can't get mad at me anymore. I can't believe I hadn't thought of this sooner. I've gone on record saying the jack-o'-lantern is one of the cutest plants in the game, and frankly, I stand by that. It's fun to have a character you'd expect to look spooky, but instead he's just a widow pookie. Its power reminded me a lot of the Pyre Vine, so I decided to directly compare the two. Jack-o'-lantern certainly gets the job done quicker, but also can lose power pretty quickly. Pyre Vine seemingly never stops, but is much weaker, even though you could place any other plant on top of it to solve your issue completely, like putting the pumpkin on a Pyre Vine, for example. As long as we're comparing them, we might as well figure out which one tastes better too. Let me go get Chupo real quick. Hey Chupo, how's it go? Oh my god! I really love its plant food too. Seems like it always comes in handy. I'm guessing people don't like the guy because he runs out of gas so quickly and doesn't have the greatest range. A lot of lists are outdated on the guy, as at one point you controlled its flame. Now it does it on its own, which is way better in my opinion. I really can't think of a time I would want to be in control of its attack. I say we gotta give him another chance, and we can start by placing him in A tier. It would be hard to complain about the Grapeshot, I feel. Unlike most expensive plants like Cherry Bomb or Jalapeno, you can attack a specific spot and hit zombies across the board too. At one point a zombie was past my lawnmower, my life was freaking over, and one little grape snuck its way back there and saved my damn life! Then again, it is just a bundle of sentient grapes. Sometimes I can feel lazy like He Who Shall Not Be Named, but in the case of plants like the banana launcher and this one, I think it's a little endearing. Anyways, once you own the Grapeshot, there's really no reason for the Cherry Bomb to exist anymore, which is a little sad but only emphasizes how great this one is. I'm placing it in S tier. I'm a pretty big fan of every new plant in Jurassic Marsh. I'm sorry, that's just how this section is gonna go. I'm typically not the kind of guy who likes buffed up versions of characters we already have. Who wants new Peashooters, Walnuts, and Sunflowers? They're just taking a spot from some brand new characters. But somehow they not only nail the designs, but have blown me away with their abilities. I've already ranked the Primal Peashooter in my last PvZ video, but keep in mind that was on a list of Peashooters. And it's safe to say peas are not the top tier plants anymore. That doesn't mean I suddenly hate the Primal Peashooter now, I'm just gonna say it. It's not staying in S tier. I love its ability to push back zombies, I think he looks really fun, but there are some crazy powerful plants in the game and I don't think he can handle the heat. Let's bump him down to A tier. I'm gonna be really progressive this episode and only show fan art of a single plant, but you all legally have to admit that this fan art goes harder than any other fan art of any other plant in the game. Primal Wall-nut could totally steal your girl and get away with it, and honestly, I hope he does. It's an interesting plant for sure, because on the surface, it's a more expensive walnut with the same amount of strength. But what you're missing is, it recharges crazy fast. It can take multiple Gargantuar hits. His plant food power is one of the most entertaining ones in the whole game. And don't forget, oh no, he's hot! It's the perfect addition to your Primal team, and continues to be one of the best walnuts the world has ever seen. He is just a damn walnut though. I'm putting him in A tier too. The only new plant in Jurassic Marsh that isn't a prehistoric take on another plant is the Perfume-shroom. I'm guessing they just didn't have a solid idea on what plant would have this power, but knew they wanted a plant to be able to charm dinosaurs. And yeah, that's what this one does. Any dino in its lane becomes your ally, taking out tons of zombies for you. It's really not about how good the Perfume-shroom is, it's mostly about the dinosaurs you use it on. I personally hate the Stegos and the T-Rexes, so I tend to target those. But pretty much always end up regretting my choice when every other lane gets worse. Unfortunately, it's held back by its crazy recharge time, and there's so many damn dinos to counter that you can only use it on a couple lanes in each level. It also doesn't exist in levels without dinosaurs, which is like 99% of the game, so it ends up being pretty forgettable. I wouldn't say useless, but I also put plants like the hot potato in F tier, so I'd say this thing is about as helpful as a hot potato. Sorry. Rather than another caveman, we got an Ice Age Snapdragon. I really like to imagine what a Primal Snapdragon would look like, but I'm honestly pretty content with the Cold Snapdragon. It's so good, dude. The Snapdragon might as well not exist once you have this one. 3 lanes of attack, fully slowing down zombies, crazy powerful plant food ability, icy sexy dragon plant? Where the hell do I sign? He was definitely better when he was first released, I won't deny that, but you can't keep me from loving him either. We're gonna have so many S tiers today, I can tell you that right now. I will absolutely be ranking every sunflower ever, which of course will include the Primal Sunflower, so let's not spend too much time on her today. Primal Sunflower is my personal go-to sun producer, other than the Gold Bloom I guess, just because I like her style. Sure, it costs 75 sun to plant, but you'll make that back within seconds. I'm guessing there's another sun producer out there people prefer, but not me. Primal Sunflower is my sunflower, and you can't take her away from me. S tier. The same can be said for the Primal Potato Mine. It just makes levels so easy. Other than the boss fights, it always does well in the arena mode. For just 50 sun, you have an almost immediate potato mine ready to go that not only kills zombies in its lane, but all zombies in its vicinity, and you can make 3 of them, which is 1 plant food ability. It's so nice to place the first 3 rows full of potato mines and just go do the dishes or something. You're freaking set for life! Again, is it the best potato mine ever? Maybe not, but in my mind it is. It's my favorite single-use plant in PvZ history. There's literally nothing you can say to convince me to not place this plant in S tier. I've always found the Shrinking Violet so annoying to use, despite how fun her ability is. As far as I can remember, there aren't any other plants that can shrink zombies, and oh boy can you shrink a lot of them. You can shrink the whole dang screen if you've got plant food. Shrinking zombies is more powerful than poison or butter or anything because it's permanent. All shrunken zombies are weakened forever, and that's pretty nuts. Plus they're slower, plus they're cuter, plus you could make them your tiny husband. I mean, you could kill them easier. I definitely haven't seen the extent of her usefulness, but apparently she's bound in the arena because you get less points for killing shrunken zombies. Short Kings will never catch a break, dude. Let's say A tier. We've made it to the Shadow family, so let's quickly discuss how difficult it's going to be to rank these things. Each of these plants is more powerful thanks to its fellow family members, especially the Moonflower, but on their own they're really nothing special. I think we're just going to have to rank them based on their most powerful forms because I really don't know why you'd even use them by themselves anyways. Again, they aren't useless alone, they're just using 10% of their brains like me. You wouldn't want to see Jake Miller operating at 100%, so let's let these plants do it instead. Anyways, the idea behind these plants are very cool, despite being a little weird as the final world plants in the whole game. I feel like they'd fit a forest setting better, or even just a modern day stage during nighttime. It doesn't matter, let's just look at Moonflower. I always hated Moonflower, I'll say it. I thought she was bad, and then I found out she's actually OP. I will never get good at this game at this freaking rate. Anyway, she's a better sunflower that makes even more sun based on how many shadow plants are near her. Simply by placing plants, you're earning more sun. The biggest downside is that her plant food sucks, but so what? Just don't use it then, right? I'm gonna be a Moonflower hater to the damn grave, but I know people will start digging the hole for me quicker than I'd like them to if I place her low, so let's settle on an A tier. I truly hate this Bloomerang wannabe. The Bloomerang has infinite rangs, dude! Now all of a sudden I gotta worry about running out? Without the Moonflower, this thing just resorts to slapping zombies too. Now bro thinks he's a melee plant? Bro thinks he's a Bong Choi clone? You will never live up to the hype, dude. In terms of the Shadow family, the Nightshade is by far my least favorite addition. He can be a great early plant when he's taking the blue pill, but as soon as his stamina gets low, it's freaking useless to me. It's not even good in the modern day levels, man. These hordes of zombies can get past him like nothing. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth, even if it can be useful in other worlds. Then again, Shadow P makes this thing look like a loser now. I can't help disliking the Nightshade, and I'm putting him in D tier. I think we're gonna have to have a cuteness contest in the comments here. Jack-o'-lantern versus the Shadow-shroom. Only one can prevail. I personally can't vote because I'm absolutely biased. I prefer mushrooms over pretty much every other plant in the franchise. Sadly, just because it's cute doesn't make it any better to use. The whole point of shadow plants is to be powered up by being near one another, but as a single-use plant you want to get eaten, the poor guy either doesn't get his power or is played way too close to your base. The best part about it is the plant food power, but you could easily substitute it for one of the mint abilities for no extra cost. It does kill zombies quick, it is super cute, it just isn't a worthwhile plant in your arsenal. Sorry buddy, C tier. I could pretty much copy and paste my same argument there for the Blooming Heart. She's adorable and actually one of my favorite designs in the game. I think she turned out great. but the Curse of the Catapult plants will never escape PvZ2, and Blooming Heart is just the next one in the line of casualties. It's better than the Cabbage Pole at least, it's not the worst at least. But after this we rank the Dusk Lobber, an infinitely better plant that fulfills the same action, so it's really pretty strange how these two plants are released right alongside one another. It's like two sisters posing in a yearbook photo or something. Anyways, the Blooming Heart is supposed to be able to deal more damage with each hit, except it has a cap. So what the hell is the goddamn point then? The whole gimmick is it gets stronger as you go, but that just means it's weak for a bit until it reaches its cap, and then it's as good as it will ever be. I understand it would go sicko mode if it could infinitely increase in damage, but without that ability it just seems pointless. I really hate to do it, but that's an F tier. Alright, now we have the actual good version of this character. Dusk Lobber is a great plant, and one of the best shadow plants too. You're basically getting a cheaper 3-peater with splash damage, which is really going to help you out in the modern day levels. With a slow recharge time and a reliance on the Moonflower, it isn't perfect, but other than those flaws, you really can't get yourself a better catapult plant. It's not that she does a lot of damage to one zombie, but a decent amount to groups of zombies. So as long as you don't have a single crazy buff zombie coming at you, she'll be helpful. It's probably because I feel we have so many S ranks coming, but either way, I'd rather place her down in A tier. If you've ever wanted to move a plant from one place to another, you've come to the right place. The escape route can change the location of a plant you've already placed, which I find most helpful for the Grimrose in modern day stages. It's another problem I rarely find myself having though. I'd really just place two of the same plant then move one around. Then again, if you want to move a plant out of danger, that's really the best way to use the guy. When a zombie gets close to the escape route, it turns into a random explosive plant. So you could suddenly just have a Grapeshot take out a group of zombies rather than losing a cool plant. It seems like it should be so helpful. I can just never use it quite right. I'd rather put my tail between my legs and bring in the Primal Mine than try to figure out the escape route. I'm sorry. I want to hear the crazy strategies you've used for him on your end, while I swallow my shame and place him in B tier. Our final world plant in the entirety of PvZ2 is the one and only Grimrose. The Mimikyu of Plants vs Zombies, I always say. The Grimrose always targets the strongest zombie in a lane and pulls them into the Shadow Realm, never to be seen again. It can do that a whole 3 times next to a Moonflower. Meanwhile, Chomper sits in your inventory and freaking cries out to sleep every time a better version of itself is added. I love the look of this thing, such an awesome final entry to the game. I've always enjoyed using him. I guess its main detriment is its short lifespan and inability to kill flying zombies and gargantuars, but still, as long as you know that, you know what situations it's good for, and it does the job really well. We've had a lot of S and A's today, but it feels much more fitting for the final world plant to go in the most exciting tier ever. B tier. Don't worry though, we're not done just yet. Let's get some more premiums ranked on our way out. I'm including Goldbloom just for the sake of including it, but what more is there to say? Want free sun immediately? For free? In some levels I don't even need another sun producer, just get Jeff in here and he'll bloom all freaking over me. Anyone who's ever played the game knows it's S. Nothing more needs to be said. Now let's talk about a plant I absolutely cannot stand. This stupid electric current just isn't worth it. You gotta have at least 2 for it to even do something, and even then you're not even getting your money's worth. They're able to make an electric stream between one another, but only at perpendicular angles. Literally just allow the thing to connect with any electric current on screen, and it instantly becomes a better plant. But no! I'm not wasting my damn time setting these things up when I could play any other good plant instead. Other than the interesting concept, I have no idea why the hell this thing exists, and what audacity they had to charge people money for it. Easy F tier. Give it up for one of the most haunting looking plants in PvZ2, the Gloom Vine. Poor Perfume-shroom never got a damn chance. He's been fully replaced in all of his gloomy glory for a vine. Vines are just good, especially the damn P-Vine apparently. Go watch my YouTube short if you're still pissed at me about that, by the way. But this time, being a vine is actually a detriment. In the original PvZ, you could place a pumpkin on the Perfume-shroom and give it some protection, but vines don't get that treatment. They are the protection. So most gloom vines are going to be eaten if a zombie gets close. It's certainly helpful in adjacent lanes, and it's great for shadow plants too. It creates a little power tile for them, meaning you don't need a Moonflower to do it. Then again, Moonflower is good, so you probably want it anyways. I don't know, I'm honestly pretty conflicted. Let's show its predecessor, Perfume-shroom, some respect by placing it in D tier. Does anyone else get creeped out by seeing that boiling butter in this guy's head? Especially with that worried look on his face. I don't think the poor guy's ready to die. Well, too bad. This toast needs some butter, and I'm getting hungry. It's pretty strange how many plants have butter abilities in them, considering plants have almost nothing to do with butter, like ever. But it's a thing now, and you can butter a lot of zombies with this one plant. Even if there aren't many zombies on stage, it leaves butters on tiles, instantly stopping a zombie in its tracks. The butter does go away though, and then I'm just left wondering why I didn't bring in the Primal Potato Mine. And why is the name so dumb? You're telling me this thing is based on the phrase bada bang bada boom? I'll show you what's based by throwing you down to D tier. If we combined a bok choy and a crocodile, you'd get the Parsnip. It only attacks at a close range, but if hurt one too many times, it makes a run for it, dealing a little more damage on its way out. You even get the little baby parsnips from its plant food, just like the crocodile. Well, I do love its big, meaty claws! I would never really say this is better than bok choy, not by a long shot. You think this guy would turn around if there's a zombie behind him? No way, dude. If we went solely on design, I'd say A, but I think it works so poorly, I'm dropping it down to C. I famously put the Hypno-shroom in S just because I thought it was cool, but what if the Hypno-shroom could hypnotize more than one zombie? What if it could aim at any zombie on screen? What if it was a massive floating head of cauliflower that looked freaking awesome? Well, that's about as far as my imagination goes, so good thing we have exactly all those things. Zombies no longer have to eat something to be hypnotized, meaning anything is fair game now. Well, almost anything. There is a very short list of things that are still immune, but it's so short it really doesn't matter. The main issue is just how long it takes to activate, and you really can't choose who gets hypnotized. I do wish you could mass hypnotize with the plant food rather than smack a few zombies away, but man is it hard to beat the Caulipower, I feel. S tier. The Witch Hazel is very similar to the Caulipower but turns zombies into mushrooms rather than hypnotizing them. Since my plants are all at level 1, it's just a Puff-shroom. But at higher levels you get better attackers. With a plant food ability you even get a free toadstool out of it, which is pretty awesome. I think it's slower than the Caulipower though, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. Any stage with big zombies is a great use for her, but otherwise she's just kind of a cool looking witchy plant. Her animations are what really shine in my opinion. I definitely like her, I just don't think she can compare. Let's give her a B tier. We went through a ton of the Shadow family today, so it made perfect sense to include the Conceal-mint too. It was so weird starting with the Enlightenment because it made me think all mints were dog dookie, but no, mints are epic, dude. This one's free ability, it's just like the Grimrose, into killing zombies by pulling them underground. And it makes your shadow plants even stronger than they already were. It's great, I love it, looks fun, but I'm definitely biased because I brought in so many dang shadow plants with it. It's good, but not that good. A tier. Ever since we got the Snapdragon, I've dreamed of getting a dragon fruit plant. Except not the PvZ Heroes one. Or the nightmare-inducing PvZ China one. A different dragon fruit. And finally, my dreams came true! We were really getting our own dragon fruit in PvZ 2. And then we got whatever the hell this is. Some three-headed loser who looks like they're spitting up like little babies every time they attack. It's not so much that they look bad, although each body part of them looks like a completely different plant, but their animations are just so lacking. They didn't even try. And could you tell this was a shadow plant? Yeah, it fits right in with all the others, right? No! I genuinely did not realize that before looking into it further. How the freak was I supposed to guess that based on looking at this thing? The main cool thing it does is it will make little babies when it dies, and if you really want you can use plant food to make them new again. It's a nice touch. You may believe it should be ranked highly, but I have one more divisive piece of evidence that will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this thing should be sent back from whence it came. I rest my case. D tier. I believe that when this video releases, the electric peel will be the most recent plant available in the game, and if not, well doggone it, I really tried. I didn't unlock the thing yet, but I got a ton of chances to try it out first. Already, I'd say the design and animations are on another level compared to the rest of the new plants we've been seeing. It's the most dynamic banana-based plant we've seen yet. They typically just give a banana some eyes and call it quits. They gave it some personality, and I gotta appreciate that. It's heavily promoted as a water-based plant too, which is sort of fun. In the end, it's kind of just an electric-based bloomerang, but that's okay. After the pathetic display of the Dragonbruit, I have no problem putting the electric peel in C tier. It's hard to imagine a world where Plants vs. Zombies 2 stops getting new plants. There aren't many games that have been around for this long that consistently get updated like it. It simultaneously feels like any day now could be the last plant ever, and that the game will never truly die. While the newest plants we've been getting aren't amazing, I'm at least a little intrigued to see what each one can do. The process of unlocking them can be pretty exhausting, but it feels good to have such a massive collection. But the glory days of PvZ 2 are long gone now, especially considering we've officially ranked every plant introduced through the story of the game. Through making this series, I slowly learned what these plants actually do, usually after I make a video and people get angry at me in the comments, but still, it is educational. Maybe we will continue this somewhat toxic relationship we have, where I rank some premium plants and you tell me how dumb and ugly I am, who knows. But if we don't, I'm happy to at least have gotten through all the exciting new ideas introduced to the world plants of the game. Here's hoping that Plants vs. Zombies 3 starts getting actual new characters so you can relive this experience once again. Thank you for sticking with me through this series. I know it can be frustrating at times. My next PvZ videos will be based on heroes and the highly anticipated Every Sunflower Ever, so don't miss out. And like I said, hopefully PvZ 3 can get some new plants for us to rank too. We have so many members now, almost as many as plants we rank today. I sincerely apologize if you get a bad one, but there's only so much to choose from. If you want to gamble your fate on which plant sona I think you should have, then please consider becoming a member of the channel today. Thank you Leland, Patrick Barjan, Bright Streak, MD Switchy, Dolphinar H2O, Dojo Master, Lavatane, Jasper TV, Keep, Omegon, Galguy, Jeb the Legend, Cheaper Ying, Gotham, Marie, Callum Ford, Dawnstar Plays, Stuff Happens Sometimes, Peacock, Sharky, OK, Cyro's Taken, Pika Girl for You, and I'm Just So Tired. And Rafael! I think I have a pretty good idea for a new plant. There should be a defensive mushroom that can make multiple smaller versions of itself, as if they're duplicating. It would be an awesome new defensive plant, something we haven't seen for a while. Maybe the little ones can even eat zombies or something, that could be fun. Anyways, that's my personal idea, and if anything is ever like it, PopCap owes me $1 and a real life pea shooter. But if we don't, I'm happy to at least have gotten... But if we don't, I'm at least... It's the most dynamic banana we... It's the most dynamic banana... It's the most dynamic banana...